Here we have the current stock market update for NIO Incorporated, stock ticker NIO. Before we begin with today's chart analysis, if you find these educational materials to be helpful in your trading, please remember to click the like and subscribe buttons and leave your thoughts below in the comment section so that other traders can find this information more easily on the platform. So what we're looking at here is the hourly price chart. That means each candle on this time frame represents a 1 hour trading period. And as we can see here, the stock is continuing to trade in a very heavy fashion. Over the weekend, there was news that China enacted a bit more stimulus. We did see a 25 basis point reduction in the lending rate in China. And generally, this is considered to be good news for stock markets. I mean, generally, the textbook conventional logic is that, stock markets move higher. And that does tend to, be even more true when we're dealing with products that often involve lending and loans. So that would be things like real estate, car loans, things like that. So, as we can see here, this really is not having much of an impact on share prices. And I will sort of zoom in a bit more into this $5 area because I think that this is going to wind up being kind of the main line in the sand here for this stock, kind of the main level to watch to the downside. But first, I just wanted to look at the hourly indicator reading because there is a little bit of positive, signal activity that can be argued here. What we're seeing is that this prior downtrend line has now broken. But I think, as I said previously, this is a very drastic line. It's a very steep slope that's on this trend line here. So it's really not difficult to break those types of trend lines. And then, as we can see, the relative strength index, did sort of bounce out of oversold territory. I think I was saying in the prior video there were a couple of bullish signals here that were developing because we did break through this downward condition here. The stock is rolling out of oversold territory, and then the relative strength index is also breaking above its own exponential moving average. So those would be three signals here, but we're really seeing a very weak bounce here, and it does look like we could start to just move back lower here. And then it also has to be kept in mind that the longer term condition here is still negative, and this is on the hourly time frame. So this is an important time frame as far as the indicator readings and the exponential moving averages would be concerned. The daily chart and the hourly chart tend to be much more important for those reasons because the expectation there is that a large percentage of the market is watching these two time frames. So, for example, if we see any asset, move into oversold territory on the hourly or daily charts, the expectation then would be that a large percentage of the market is now going to react to that information. So, as we can see here, the share price itself has managed to bounce a little bit out of oversold territory. But what we're really seeing here is just sort of a rollover out of that area. So this is starting to look more like the indicator reading is simply resetting itself rather than making a strong bounce out of this region. So that is the risk with this type of event. I mean, if we just sort of trade in sort of sideways territory here, this indicator reading will reset itself and it will move out of oversold territory, even if share prices don't have a significant price movement. So that is something that needs to be kept in mind. So just to end the video here, I will look at the shorter term time frames because at the moment, I do think that the last stand here for the bullish side of the argument is going to be that $5 level. So we're just going to sort of look at the near term price action here, see how close we've actually come to that region. Because we have seen some very close movements here. I think we got to roughly 505. Yeah, so we're going to just sort of take a look at this activity here. Because I think that this is mostly, going to determine whether or not we break above that level or not. So, as we can see, there is sort of a double bottom here that is occurring right around 505. We did get this bounce here. We are seeing a bounce here. And this would have been the beginning of the trading session. So we saw this sort of price gap lower, and then share prices just sort of bounced from there. That does mean that this is a very critical level of support here. There is some buying activity that's going on here, but ultimately, where did that actually get us? It got us about 20 cents in share price movement, about 22 cents. So this high here, and this is very short term. I mean, we're just sort of what we're trying to determine here is whether or not share prices are going to be breaking through that $5 level. So we're just sort of looking for signals that might suggest that will happen or that won't happen. So, as we can see, there is some buying activity here. We did get this bounce um, off of 505. So that is significant, and this does tell us that there is some support here. However, if we break below here, the question is, how much more support does there rest in this area? I mean, are people going to, possibly, if we do see a break below 505, does that then mean that the market is suddenly going to move into this stock at $5? I mean, it becomes harder to believe that will occur when we're seeing share price bounces that are this weak out of these areas. So if we sort of lose this support zone, it makes it, it just becomes less likely that we will see a bounce off of $5. Does that mean that it can happen? No. But the way this chart is looking at the moment, I would not be buying in at $5 per share. And largely the reason that I say that is because the series of highs here is clearly weakening, and this is even with stimulus being continually injected into the market from the Chinese government. So this is not having a positive effect on this stock in particular. We can talk about long-term arguments. We can talk about the market as a whole all we want. But I think what we're focused on here at the moment, as far as daily updates are concerned, is going to be whether or not this stock breaks below that $5 level. And to me, the balance of the evidence here would suggest that is the most likely scenario, because these highs here are developing at lower levels. So previously here, we'll just write this in on the chart just to close out the video, because I think that this is the main factor to be watching at this point. This prior high came in at 549. So we'll just write that in here. Okay, and then this near-term bounce here from the same level. I mean, we're talking about a bounce from 505. Initially, this gave us 550. What happened the second time? When we bounced off of 505, we rallied, quote unquote, to, I believe it's 527. Is that right? Okay, so 527 is this near-term high. So now if we break at all below $5 per share, and this is the trajectory here at the moment, if we break below there at all, the question is then, what do people actually believe here? Do we really believe that, there's a lot of options buying that's around $5 per share? It's not impossible. Okay, and I will go on record saying that, but this starts to look very weak here when we're seeing this sequence of bounces that is producing weaker and weaker results. So at the moment, I don't see the stock holding up above $5 per share. So here's the current market update for NIO Incorporated, stock ticker NIO. Our high value trading strategies membership is currently available for a limited time for only $9.99 per month. These high conviction investment strategies are characterized by superior risk to reward metrics that target massive market beating returns over time. Join now to outperform the market, lock in this special introductory rate of just $9.99 per month for the entire lifetime of your membership, and start trading stocks with the pros.